Okay, dear students, today we are going to see the Protista. What about Protista? Protista is second kingdom. The last class we might have seen, okay, 1 Monera, 2 okay, Protista, third fungi, fourth plant kingdom, and fifth is animal kingdom. So, why we wrote all these 5? Because we have to understand that today we are going to see the Protista, the second one. The Monera, as we know, these are the smallest and unicellular. So, this is next smallest unicellular. The remaining are the multicellular. Okay. Now, the heading, the Protista kingdom. Okay, Protista. First, imagine what will Protista. These Protista are small, okay, unicellular. Next, they will be having a nucleus, okay, and they will be having a membranes, okay, membrane bound organelles, and for its locomotion they will be having a flagella or cilia, and they will be present in the water. Okay, the first source of the life is the water. So, you have to imagine this. Next, if you go for points, what is the kingdom Protista? General points. Okay, in this there will be subtopics will be there. Okay, divisions will be there. Like we saw in the Monera, bacteria, eubacteria, archaebacteria, and eubacteria. This way, the kingdom Protista will be also having the parts. Okay, near about 5 parts. That we see later. These are the general principles, the general characters. First one, these are single cell organisms. It means just like Monera. Then why these are not kept in Monera? The reason is, now we see, that is they have a nucleus. Okay, that's why these are the eukaryotes. When you say eukaryotes, means the new, modern, true, well-developed karyotes, that is nucleus. It means these will be having a nucleus that is well developed. Because of this reason, these are not kept in the Monera. These are kept in the Protista. Second is, that is organelles. Which organelles? These organelles are also having a membrane. It means a membrane will be there, like a chamber, that is membrane bound. These are the two characters. Because of this, these are called eukaryotes. Because of this, even though they are single cell, or we can also think that these are the unicellular. Okay, these are unicellular. Still they are kept in the Protista. It means because of this character, these are separated and they are kept in the Protista. Next, again they will be having flagella. Okay, for their locomotion they will be having flagella and they will be having the cilia. Next, these are mostly aquatic. Okay, these are aquatic primarily. As you know, the water is the life source. The water is important for any life to start. So, these will also depend on the water. Later, they will change their habitat. Later, okay, they will go into a different habitats. We have to think which habitat they will go. It means they will change their place of surviving. It means they will go to the fungi. They will go into the plants. They will go into the animals. Why they will go? They will go for another, for food, for shelter, and for becoming into more in number. That is reproduction. Again, what is reproduction? How they will do? The reproduction will be done in the sexual and asexual. Now we will see the remaining parts. Okay. So if you go into the, so you understood what? The general unicellular, single cell, eukaryotic, flagella, its locomotion and its existence. Now we will see this different habitats. What that means? It means these Protista okay, will link or depend or it will attack on the plants, animals and fungi. Why? The question will come why. The answer is for food, okay, for shelter and for the reproduction. It means to reproduce they need more food. For that more food they have to go and good place, there only they can go for reproduction. So these are the three reasons, okay. These are three reasons that they will go into different habitats. And again, while during this process, by eating food from other organisms, like if this go and attack on the plant lose its own food because the food has been shared. Animals become the food, it means animals will get some diseases. That's why these are called as pathogens, are also called as parasites, okay, or this is called diseases. Understood? This is the reason behind. Later, last, if we see reproduction, how they reproduce? Generally, the reproduction will be, okay, generally the reproduction will be asexual and the sexual. Asexual reproduction, okay, and sexual reproduction. In this, they will produce spores, and here they will come into cell division. Cell division, nothing but cell, okay, fission. It's a process of just like a mitosis. You have to also remember that is mitosis. Okay, generally binary fission, multiple fission, all will come under. This is the general introduction of the Protista. Clear? Now, again, if you see the Protista, now we know it, but still we have to keep this because further the future we have to speak about this. So, the Protista are divided into how many parts? 4 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. What are those? Those are 1, chrysophytes. Next is dino, okay, flagellates. Next is giglinoids. Next is slime molds. And the fifth one is protozoans. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these are the, there we have to discuss about the 5 things. Okay. Now the first one is the chrysophytes. First, before going to this content, first we have to imagine how they will be, where they will be. For just for your imagination, for understanding, I am drawing this diagram. This is a pond, a tub. Okay, this will be water. In the middle, you can think that this is a fresh water, a stagnant water, pond water. Here, this will be a current, the marine water. And generally, this will be a unicellular, so they will be very small. So they will be floating. They will be very small. Will they all will be on the top? Will they all be on the surface? Few will be in the middle of the water, ocean. And few will be very tough, and they will deposit on the ground of the water, ocean, like this. And because of this, continuously they are surviving, staying in the water, their cell wall will be different. Okay, this will be very tough. And all over ocean they will present, that's why they will be more in number. So this is an imagination. Okay. Now according to this imagination we will work out. So what are chrysophytes? We also remember that the chrysophytes, okay, dinoflagellates, euglenoids, that is A, B, C, D, E, like this, a sequence is there. Now, chrysophytes are also called as diatoms. Diatoms means two parts like this. Okay. Next, or these are also called as desmides, are also called as golden algae. It means this algae says they are photosynthetic, they can prepare their own food, and these are also called as unicellular algae. Clear? These are unicellular algae. So, introduction is over. Now, see, they are microscopic. How they will be? They will be microscopic. Next, they will be floating. Clear? Next, most of will be, they are they're small, it's very simple, so they are photosynthetic. Next, that is, these being photosynthetic, they will be called as planktons. Planktons, very simple molecules. Again, in this there will be two types. One is phytoplanktons and zooplanktons. Okay, but generally we see about the phytoplanktons. So they will prepare their own food. Next, what about the structure? These will be having a cell wall. Okay, and these cell walls will be overlapping on each other. So to protect in different directions. Okay, just like the cell walls will be overlapping. Your right example, that is and a soap box. Like soap box, okay, it will be overlapping each other. So to protect them from the external problems. Moreover, they are surviving the ocean, many chemicals, nutritions. So their cell wall will be generally made up of silica. Silica is just like soil, it's very tough. So because of this tough nature, they will be indestructible. It means very tough to destruct, very tough to damage. Clear? So this is about them. So these are all diatoms. Now if you see, because of cilia, these diatoms, okay, will be tough and the nature will be gritty, tough, rigid, and these are accumulating from thousands of years, billions of years in the ocean. So that is called large accumulation. And these are also called as diatomeous earth. What is this? It is nothing but just large accumulation of these diatoms in the soil. It means here I have shown you this, they are accumulating, whatever these are accumulating, and that soil will be rough, tough, like sandpaper. If you maybe know sandpaper, it will be very rough. This will be used for many purposes, for polishing, okay, because roughness. So this diatomous earth, it is the material with the dead materials of the diatoms, which are accumulated because of the many years. Now, because of this soil will be used, or these particles will be used in the industries. This question will be asked many times. Okay, in the protista, what are the things were you used in the industries? Or which type of industries? If it is used, then that will be used in the polishing, like sandpaper, many things. Next, they will be used in the filtration. Filtration of what? Filtration of the oils and syrups. Last point, these are the chief producers. You have to remember, these are the chief producers. Why we said last? Because in the oceans, especially in the Chief producer means not the directors, actors, heroes. Producers means they will produce the food, the starting of the food. Then that food, the producers. Next will be consumers. These phytoplanktons will be eaten by the zooplanktons. From there, the fishes will be eaten by other fishes by the other organisms. So these are the producers. These are the major producers. In the ocean, everywhere they will present. Okay, everywhere. So these are the chief producers in the ocean. Not only in this living, after dead also. Everywhere you will see this type of diatoms on the oceans, in the oceans. Okay, this is about the chrysophytes. What you have to remember is that is diatoms and desmites. Okay, the name is C, but we discuss everything about the D. That is diatoms. Clear? Next, the topic is second one, dinoflagellates. Okay, that is the name itself says that is they have flagellas. Okay, so in the unicellular these are the things having first flagellas. Okay, next dino and flagellates. To understand this, first we have to see a diagram like this. Okay, a tough diagram. Okay, a tough organisms with this and having the furrows. Okay, and they will be having the flagellas. One will be long, longitudinal, another will be like this, and many color shades, and tough wall. Okay, the cell plates. Okay, made up of cellulose, different colors. Okay, next we'll see dinoflagellates. Mostly these are marine. These are marine mostly. Next, they will survive on their own in the oceans. So these are photosynthetic. These are the photosynthetic. And if you see in the, these will be different colors. I said marine, depending on many nutrients, they will be different colors. Like they will be green color because photosynthesis. They will be yellow color. Okay, they will be blue color. They will be brown color, and they will be red color. Okay, not only the shape, there will be different shapes like this round, okay, green, blue. In this different styles, it will be more or less amazing styles will be there. Okay, not a particular shape. In different shapes, it will be there. Clear? This is about general introduction. Now, what about the flagella? The locomotion. There will be flagellas. Okay, they will be having two flagellas. Okay, in this one will be longitudinal. It means like this. Okay, it will be like this. And second, transversal. It will be like this. Okay, one is longitudinal, one is transversal. It will be in the furrow of the cell plates. Okay, for movement in different directions. This flagella will be used to move upside, another flagella will be used to move the directions. Next, okay, the cell wall is made up of cellulose plates. So here the cellulose, this was used. It means the carbohydrates converted into a hard materials for its protection. Next example is red dinoflagellates. Okay, what is the specialty? In this many flagellates are there, means red dinoflagellates has a capacity to, okay, to maximize in less time and convert the sea, general sea water into a red sea. It means within no time they will grow in a lot of number they will grow, and they convert the sea tides, okay, to the Red Sea, okay, that is tides. And moreover, they have the capacity to produce the toxins. There will be large number. So, large number, if they produce a little amount of toxin, that has a more capacity and that can kill the fishes. This is about the dinoflagellates. They are marine mostly, they are photosynthetic, they will survive on their own, okay, they will be different colors. Okay. Next, they will have two flagella, one is longitudinal, one is transversal, and next is they will have a cell wall for its tough nature. So, this is a tough nature. From this only the all organisms which were evaluated, they are having this carbon as a cellulose plates. Next is the red dinoflagellates. They will grow enormously within less time and they will cover all the sea. That is called Red Sea. The Red Sea is in the red color, you will see it is red color or suddenly within few days it will become red color. Okay. Recently also in India, some places ponds in the middle India, they become red color within 2 or 3 days, within 2 or 3 days and nights, because of this type of protista. Dinoflagellates have started growing enormously within less time and they will look like red color. Not only red color, green color, different colors it will be. Next is the toxins. They have the capacity to produce poison. That poison can kill fishes. A big fish also can be killed. Clear? So, now we see about the another one, euglenoids, the third one. Euglenoids are very interesting. Euglena, okay, you in your lower classes you might have heard. The specialty of the euglena is very interesting that this euglena, a hybrid of the last kingdoms, that is a plant and animal kingdom. In between both, they thought to keep this euglena. Why? Because it can produce its own food and it is also an attack animal also. But because of unicellular, but it is only one small, very small. Within the one cell, it has a ball capacities. It is a unicellular. That's why they are unable to keep it here or here. That's why they kept in the protista. Luckily, it got a place in the protista, which are unicellular and eukaryotic. Clear this point? Now, we should draw a diagram. According to the content, we should imagine, we see there will be a fish-like structure because it has to move and it will have a nucleus. Okay. It will be having the organelles. Okay. For its movement, it will be having a flagella and direction it will be having another flagella. Okay. It will having a cell wall, or it will not be having cell wall because it should become as an animal. So, to become animal, it has to move flexibly. So, in this case, it will not have cell wall. Instead of cell wall, it will have a protein. Okay. That is pellicle. So, it can move flexible and it can attack. Understood? Now, if you see what is this? That is 1, 2, 3. Okay. Euglenoids. Okay. The dinoflagellates are marine. So, in the contrasting, this will be fresh water, mostly fresh water. Okay. Second, these are photosynthetic. Clear? And not only photosynthetic, they are also heterotrophic. And in presence of sunlight, okay, they will be photosynthetic, they will prepare their own food. In absence of sunlight, if sunlight is less, then they will attack on the other organisms. So, this will be called heterotrophic. Next, there will be no cell wall. Because of heterotrophic, they have to move. So, there will be no cell wall. Then how? They will be having cell membrane for its protection, but it is a tough membrane. So, that is made up of, the cell membrane is made up of protein that is called as pellicle. And this will be flexible, so that only they can move. So, these are the first organisms which has the flexibility. Okay. Clear? Next, the moving also they need locomotion. For the locomotion, they have the two flagellas. One is the long, okay, the long one, and second is short, in different direction to move. Okay. This is about the euglenids, and these euglenids will be having the pigments equal to the higher plants. This is the point very important, because we have discussed all the features of the animal. Same way the features of the plant also we have to discuss. These pigments will be having pigments just like higher plants, that is why they will produce the food easily. So, this is about the euglenids. Clear? Now, hope you understood the diagram. Now, the third one completed. So, till now we completed chrysophytes, dinoflagellates and euglena. Now, after euglena we see about the, what is that? That is slime molds. Fourth one, that is the slime molds. What about this? If you see the diagram, they will be normal, round, with some layers, and it will also have a nucleus, okay, some organelles, very simple, hydrolytic enzymes, all these things. This is a slime mold. Okay. Now, what about this? First simple point, that is one, as I said, they will depend on others. These are saprophytic, okay, protists. Not only saprophyte, this crow also saprophyte, bacteria also saprophyte, fungi also saprophytes, even the protozoans also have saprophytes, even so all are in this field. So, second, another point is that how they will eat food, they will depend on the dead and decay material, decay organic material. You should not use the word dead and decayed organisms, not only organisms, organic material, everything they will depend. Okay. Next, especially what, like leaf twigs, okay, and the dead leaves and organisms. Generally they will be in the slime molds nature, but in some condition, in adverse conditions or in unfavorable conditions, they will convert into plasmodium like structure, okay, and they will grow in a huge amount, okay, they will become very big, and later when the favorable conditions are coming or the favorable conditions starts, then they will differentiate inside. Okay, and the plasmodium differentiate, and these are called as fruit bodies, and also called as spores, and the spores will be having the true walls, so that they can survive in a other external environment when they are released. Okay, and these spores will be having, they do not have the spores, the balls, okay, if they break, okay, they will be released. How they will move? Okay, they are very lightweight, that they will be, okay, transferred from one place to other place with the help of air currents. Means current means the movement of the air, the spores will be spread by the help of the air. So, this is about the slime molds. In this, what you have to remember is that they are saprophytes, they depend on the other animals, dead animals especially, not living animals. So, they will not harm generally others. Okay? Dead and decay organisms, leaf twigs, dead leaves and organisms, and they will convert into the plasmodium, okay, just like multiple fission. This is multiple fission, like amoeba they will do, and they will release the spores. So, these are the spores. This is about the slime molds. Clear? Hope you understood. Now we see the last one, that is protozoans. So, till now we have seen in the protista the four. Okay, now fifth one is the protozoans. Many times you will listen the word the protozoan. You might have heard already. Okay, so if you see the protozoans, again they will be divided into few parts. The last fifth one in this, that is protozoans. Protozoans. If you see in the protozoans, we have to see the general introduction. Okay. Later we have to see the A, that is okay, amoeboid protozoans. Second is okay, flagellated. Okay. See third, ciliated, and the fourth is okay, the sporozoan. Okay, these are amoeboid protozoans, flagellated protozoans, ciliated protozoans, and protozoans. Now, what are protozoans? Actually, these protozoans are heterotrophic. It means they are not autotrophs. They will not prepare their own food. Okay, they will depend on others. Next, they are parasites. It means they will depend on other organisms. Next, these will be predators. It means they will kill, they will hunt the other organisms. Clear? These are, because of this nature, okay, these will be called as primitive okay, relations of animals. This point you have to remember. Protozoans are heterotrophic, parasites and predators. Okay, these three are the features. Now, if you see amoeboids, first we have to draw the diagram, that amoeba diagram. It will be like this, irregular, and the food will be there. Okay, and if you see the flagellated. Okay, see that flagellate diagrams will be very simple. The organisms will be like simple. Okay, they will be having flagella, so they will be free live. They will be a parasites. Okay, problematic and non-problematic. Okay, and ciliated. You may be knowing the ciliated. This is a simple, a slipper shape, or that is a paramecium. It will be having a nucleus and it will be having a opening, this gut. Okay, it will be having thousands of cilia. And sporozoan, they will be having simple, okay, spores. So, these are like this: amoeboids, flagellated, ciliated and sporozoan. If you see amoeboids, these amoeba will survive in the fresh water. Okay. Not only that, they will survive in the marine water also, and they will also survive in the soil. Clear? So, everywhere they will present. Next, they are not photosynthetic. Okay, they have to depend. So, they have to move. For moreover, you should think that they will be having a good nucleus and membrane bound organelles. Clear? And they will have the false legs. They will have a false legs because they don't have any bones or muscles, but they behave like a leg. So, these are called false legs. Okay, and they are called as pseudopodia. Podia means leg or feet for movement. Pseudo means the false, which are not in gender, it will not present originally. Okay, the false legs. Okay. Next, what is the use of these false legs? They for to movement, for capture. Generally, they are used for capturing and movement, capturing the food, okay, or to hunt the prey. Clear? This is about pseudopodia. Next, in some cases, the amoeba which will present the marine, they will be having the a cell walls, a tough cell walls, layers. We should say cell layers, better. Cell layers made up of silica, tough one. Okay. And These amoeba will also called pathogen, they are parasites. Okay. A good example is the entamoeba. Okay. It will cause the disease amoebiasis, and this amoebiasis will be seen in the organisms. The persons or animals which will get amoebiasis, they will face the headache, muscle pain, joint pain, okay, itching, okay, all those things, and the fever will be seen. So, this is about the amoeba. Now, if you see the flagellated protozoans, okay, these protozoans will be free living. It means they will depend on their own without giving much problem to others, but some other will be the parasitic. It means they will go inside any organism like a plant or animal, and they will depend on them totally for its living system. All lifestyles will be on this organism, inside the organisms, and they will be having flagella. With the help of flagella, they will move different locations from one place to different body parts within the organisms. So, they will have flagella. Example, generally they are called diseases like sleeping sickness, okay. If you see major example for this is, this can be seen, example trypanosoma. This is about the flagellated protozoan. It means specially you have to think that this will having the flagella, free living, parasitic, okay, flagellated, they will cause diseases, sleeping sickness, and the trypanosoma. Clear? Now, if you see ciliated protozoans, main example is paramecium, as you know, okay. These are mostly aquatic. These are also well developed, okay, but specially they contains cilia, thousands of cilia, okay, all over the body, all directions, just like this two-dimensional direction. Not only this, if you see a ball, all over the ball in all directions it will be there, okay, in three-dimensional. And next is, okay, thousands of cilia, and inside, especially these are the next organisms which have a good amount of inner cavity, okay. There's a body cavity will be there. This is called as body cavity, like gut, or it's also called as gullet. Amoeba will also have, but very less, okay, and the flagella will also have very less, but this will be having a specialized cavity, a big one. Next, this cavity will be like this total cavity will have an opening, single opening. This opening will be act as a mouth to take the food, and this opening will be act as the anus to remove the food. In amoeba, it is not like this. In amoeba, any place will take the food and it will be digested, and it will be removed from any place, any part of this organism. But here the specific part is there here like this. So, this part is called opening. Clear? Next, this cilia will be used for locomotion, movement of this organism from one place to other place. Not only that, with the help of current, water current, this cilia will move the food from one place to other place like this, and it will direct the food into exactly the opening of the organism, that is the opening of the gullet. So, the food will be moved to the opening. Okay. Main example for this is the paramecium. Hopefully, you might have studied in the last years, in the last lower classes, that is about the amoeba and the cilia. The only difference is that both are same, but the method how they will intake the food, how they engulf the food here, how they will move the food will be different. Clear? Now, if you see the sporozoans will be like spores, okay, and moreover they will be infective. And they will be diversified, okay, in different styles it will be there, okay, they are very diversified. Clear? Moreover, they will form as the spores in their life stage. Okay, they will be, of course, they will be in different styles, different angles, they will be in different varieties, but they will form spores in their, at least once in their life stages of their life cycle. Clear? In the life stage of the life cycle. If you see, these spores, okay, the good example is the female Anopheles mosquito. Okay, you may be knowing that female Anopheles mosquito, okay, that will carry the malarial parasite. Okay, that is Plasmodium. Okay, it will cause malaria. Okay, it will cause malaria in the humans. So these are the spores. This is about the last topic, the protozoans. Okay, clear? I hope you understood the topic. See, I have an overview. Okay, so you got an idea about this protozoans. Now we will see the overview of these protozoans. Okay, because first time you are seeing many diversified subtopics in this one single topic. Yesterday you might have saw the last topic, that is bacteria was divided into only two, that is Archaebacteria, the primitive, and the Eubacteria, the modern. So now just look, but let us look what we discussed today. Okay, so in this first is Monera, okay, Protista, okay, fungi, okay, next is plant kingdom, we will see, and we see animals. So today we have seen the Protista. In the Protista, again we saw general introduction, then we see the Protista. In this there are 4 are there, one is 5 chrysophytes, today we saw. Next is dinoflagellates. Okay. Next we saw euglenoids. Next we saw slime molds. Next we saw the protozoans. In this protozoans we have seen the 1 and 2, 3 and 4, okay, that is amoeboid, okay, flagellated, and third we saw ciliated, and fourth we saw sporozoans. This is the today's topic. Okay, so if you understood, so these are the diatoms or desmides. So when you prepare notes, you have to see this. Okay, you have to keep this, and this is a hybrid. It is a hybrid of photosynthetic or and heterotrophic. Okay, these two things are important. Okay, and these diatoms are very important because they will be used for the human benefits. Okay, in human industries, in daily life they will use. Clear? And these will be toxic. They ask question how they will become red color. The seeds, how it will become red color. So you have to remember that is red color. Okay, red tides. Okay, this euglenoids, slime nodes. These are the dead and decaying. That is saprophytic. Okay, and especially these are the parasites. It means they will depend on the organisms okay, and they will give cause the diseases. So, this is the overview of the topic. In this way, you can remember these things easily. You can answer any topic, any question, like especially this. Many times some students will forget. They will confuse the diano, diatoms, same they'll think. Okay, desmites. You have to remember this is the desmites. You have to use the word golden algae. Moreover, one thing you have to remember that all these belongs to a unicellular, a single cell. Single cell with a single nucleus and many organelles, but having a flagella 1 or 2 and having the locomotory organs cilia or not. Okay. This is the overview of the protista. Okay. Many times whenever you say protista, only the two things you have to remember, that is amoeba and paramecium. And last, now onwards you have to remember the euglena also. And moreover, some people will first that Plasmodium vivax, okay, that is the protozoan, the malaria parasite. You also remember the Plasmodium. Because of negligence, some will think that these are very small, so these will be under bacteria. No, these are not bacteria. These are advanced than bacteria. These are advanced than Monera. These are the protista. Amoeba, paramecium, euglena, Plasmodium, the spores which all are comes under the protista. Clear? Hope you understood. Prepare notes. This is a simple module of the notes. Okay, you can understand easily. Okay, copy it and read again. Okay, have a nice day.